Hey, it's Jeff at 650 Cycle. We're doing the morning commute on the XS Cafe. Well, I didn't almost actually get run over today. Unfortunately, I have to make a stop.
Have a good day.
Yep.
339.
Now we can continue on with our journey. So I don't stop at that stupid store. It's outrageously expensive. I'm gonna hit all kinds of traffic this morning because I'm running late. That might be a little better, I don't know. Alright, let me tell you about this bike a little bit. This is a 1981 Yamaha XS400. And this was my first motorcycle build, custom build. Previously I had done I call it a resto revival, where I took a KZ440 and took it, down to the frame and clean polished, painted everything and put it back, and it was pretty much stock looking when I put it back together. This bike was not that at all. I picked it up, wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, but the guy I got it from said that him and his buddies had built a cafe. He had no interest in doing it again, and this was what was left. Essentially what I got was an XS400 with 87 FZ 750 front forks and a triple tree and all of that, the whole control area. So from that, it sat for I don't know, 4 months or so before I decided what to do with it. I finally decided to build it. I'm gonna take this road. I finally decided to build it. So that's what I did. I commenced a building. I had a motor that I had gotten on a parts bike that only had 5,500 miles on it. I checked compression. That was the one I knew the most about. And in the process, I got looking at the parts that were missing off of it that I was going to need. Then I got looking at eBay, and I was like, you know what? It'd be cheaper for me to buy another bike. And I ended up buying 2 of them. So I had 3 Yamaha XS400s at one point, and I took the best parts off of them and put them on this, along with doing a bunch of custom stuff. I wouldn't say a bunch, I guess. I did some custom work to it to get it to where it is. I put a different seat on it, I put a seat hoop on it. I configured a battery box. That was probably the one thing I was most concerned about. I don't have a lot of fabrication skills, but I have a buddy who does, so I told him what I needed, and he has a CNC plasma cutter, so we went over there and cut it out and bent it up and stuck it together, and I got a battery box. Seems got a lot of pull. It pulls pretty good. I put XS 750 rear shocks on it, kind of match the front, I guess. I did it because I hate the XS 400 ones that got this sleeve over the top with a reflector on it. Not only that, I figured that the XS 400 in its original configuration was probably set up for somebody weighing probably 150, 160 pounds, and I'm 5'10", 200 pounds, so might be a little over that. This bike does handle really well. The suspension on it is rock solid. I just recently got rid of my Virago 250, and that thing was a brutal thing to ride. Love the bike, but the suspension on it was really lacking. It was rough to ride, but this one, really nice. I wouldn't say it's like dialed in. I haven't done anything to it except put it together. I'm not a fine tuner. I'm a we got her running, let's go ride kind of guy. So there's a few things I probably do to this here and there, and I don't know. I put new tires and a new chain on it. These are actually not clip-on handlebars. These handlebars are FZ 750 handlebars. The speedometer is a very cheap, I don't remember, I bought it on Amazon or eBay. And in the ad said that it was mile per hour along with kilometers an hour. And it's not, it's just kilometers. So I had to put a cheat sheet right here so that I could get an idea of where, how fast I'm going. I don't want to be speeding. This town is Midland, and the Midland cops are brutal. They're everywhere, and they take no mercy. They hold no mercy. Show no mercy, that's what it is. I think I need to turn the idle up just a little bit. It drops off. Speaking of that and carburetors, I don't know what the previous owner did to these carburetors. I got it ready to fire one day, and I threw these carburetors on it thinking, you know, I'm gonna have to mess with them. I haven't touched them. They haven't come back off. Usually when you do pods, and I have pod filters on it, but usually when you do pods, you have to play with the jetting and, you know, back and forth with a couple different things, but this thing's been rock solid from day one. I rode it maybe 15-20 miles last fall before the weather got really cold and I couldn't get any more. And I've had it out a couple of times. I've really only got about 20 miles on it this year as well. And that's why I kind of wanted to start commuting on it, which is what I'm doing right now, so that I can get some shakedown miles on it. What's working, what's not working, what needs adjusted, that type of stuff. I do think I want to adjust the clutch out a little bit. It was originally way out, and now it's right out at the end. I don't like my clutch handle right there. I like my clutch handle a little off, a little back towards the bar a little bit, so I'm going to need to adjust that. A couple of little minor adjustments there for me. don't know if I'm gonna make this light. Oh, that was some doofus sitting there. I ain't gonna. Ah! Oh, it takes one stupid ass. This one I can sit at, because if I sit at this one, the following lights are pretty much sequential. And they'll drop right off like they're supposed to. Great. I don't know if it's going to work for me this morning or not. Must have just turned that light up there green and still red. Going way too fast. This is a 45 and I probably was tacking 60 right there, but oh my gosh, that's fun. I did this out last night. I rode about 20 miles and I was grinning and laughing the whole time, and I'm like, this is what motorcycling's about. You should be laughing the whole time you're riding. And I'm still grinning and chuckling because this thing's it just is fun. It's a little ripper. It's not this high speed anything, but it'll rip. We'll get up and go. And one thing I neglected to do was put a mirror on it. I haven't found a decent mirror. I don't want a big bulky mirror, and that's really all I've got on hand. So yeah, that worked out. These lights are turning. This is how this section of Midland works. When I first started driving this route, I didn't want to do this because of all these lights, but Midland has them timed really good. Bay City lights suck. And if you ride speed limit down through here, which I don't even know if I am, yeah, I'm pretty close. Get over here, there was a bus turn up there. I don't want to get behind a bus. No idea what the gas mileage on this thing is yet, because I've never ridden it. This will be my first full tank of gas. If I'm not mistaken, I can't say 100%, but I'm pretty sure that this has an XS650 gas tank on it. Because I ordered a fuel valve for an XS400 and it did not fit, physically did not fit the dimensions of the hole and the mounting brackets and all that. So I ordered a XS650 one and it works perfect. Well, it fit perfect. I'm not being speed racer today. I keep thinking I got another gear. It feels like I should have another gear right there. I don't know what the problem is. I don't think it's anything serious. No, I didn't think I wanted to be speed racer today, but these people are not moving like they should. It does like being up in the RPMs a little bit. It's got a little bit of a, it feels like a little bit of a falter, sputter on those lower RPMs, on the takeoff. It just has a weird feel to it. So maybe that does need some carburetor tuning. Don't know. probably going way too fast there. If that speedometer is right, that was probably 70, 75. This traffic on this road typically runs 65-ish. That guy didn't like that I passed him, so he's gonna have to come up behind me. Plus I slowed down a little bit, so I just wanted to pass him to show that I could pass him. Super fun bike though. Really is. Being my first build, I came into it not knowing if I had the ability to get it this far. And I think that's one of the most exciting things for me about this bike is that I actually finished it. And I got it to the point where I can ride it and it looks good. I did not do the paint. I cannot paint. All my life I've tried to paint and I've never been a good painter. I probably, if somebody showed me and walked me through everything, I might be able to, but I really have no interest in sanding anything. I don't do that well, so. I had a buddy paint it, lives in South Carolina. He used to live in this area and he moved, so worked out a deal with him, and he painted it and did a knockout job on it. I knew when he said he was going to paint it that was what was going to tie this bike together. That was what was going to make this bike phenomenal, and it does. This bike, it just has a splash to it because of that. Nothing, I wouldn't say any one thing I did stands out, but that tank, that's where it's at. On the motor, I painted the body of it, the fins and the crank and the case, and then I polished the side covers. I'm okay at that. They come out pretty good. They're nice and shiny, so that nice and shiny against the black fins, and it flashes off this tank, and it come out really good, I thought. And then it has an older aftermarket 2-in-1. I don't have a neutral light hooked up. It didn't work. I tried hooking it up on this. But it didn't work, so. See, it makes really cool noises. And there's that sputter again. I don't know what that is. I don't know. My fuel line isn't run the best. I don't know if it's got a little kink in it and it's not pulling enough fuel into the carbs, or if the float isn't set right, or I don't know quite what's going on. Maybe I should have checked the jets. Maybe I should just get on it and ride it. As long as my camera holds the battery, I forgot to pick up the charging cable, so as long as it holds the battery, I'm gonna ride this thing home, or I'm gonna do continue this on the way home. A little sketchy coming in through this way. There's a lot of wildlife right in here. Not so much out on 20 because that's a bigger road. But you do see the occasional dead deer out there. I'm surprised I didn't see any deer out there today. I'm kind of glad I haven't seen any deer, but I'm still surprised. I don't think they plant anything in that field, so Nothing there for him to eat. This mailbox right here gets me every time though. Like when it's a little bit darker, it looks like a deer standing there. I was gonna come paint it or put a reflector on it or something so that it doesn't look so much like a deer. Put a white reflector on it and that looks like a deer, like the eyes. That'd be my luck. I'd do something stupid like that. Yeah, the first time I took this out, I didn't have a front brake. Found out I don't like riding without a front brake. Oh well. Just a shift. Definitely deer in this area, so I don't want to be tacking out too hard. I haven't figured out the ABS on this bike yet.